Hi, my name is Jen. Welcome back to my channel, All My Plants. Today's video is philodendrons, all of my philodendrons. And honestly, I already recorded it, and I'm surprised that I don't have more. I didn't show a lot of the doubles unless they were right there, kind of in the path I was going anyway. But there are multiples of a lot of the plants. Some of them there's only one. Or I've potted them together because I got frustrated with taking care of two pain-in-the-butt plants separately. So anyway, let's go see them. I guess I'll start up here because I'm up here. I don't think I have too many left in the house. I don't know. This guy here, this is Philodendron pedatum. It's been rooting in water since December. And it's way past time to pot it up. I did pot some of the cuttings, but this is one of the original leaves here. But I still haven't ordered moss poles, and that's kind of what I wanted to do with it. I guess I could make some, you know, this kind, but I just haven't gotten there yet. I'm lazy, if you want the truth of it. I've just been kind of lazy as far as, you know, doing extra plant things other than fertilizing, watering, you know, the stuff you kind of have to do to keep them alive, chasing pests, you know. But yeah, that's a tough plant, and it has not cared at all about being in water for so long. So I like it. And then over here, why is it so dark? Also was propagated a long time ago is this Philodendron tripartitum. There's the newest leaf on it. It hasn't had any support this whole time. It doesn't really seem to need it. I also have one outside, so you'll see that one. This one is not just in water though, it's in that, it's actually a catch pot, I guess, cashpo, whatever you'd like to call it, and it's in leca. And there's another shoot coming off over here on this side. But yeah, I meant to do something with that, well, months ago, really. I think it was in the fall when I cut it. But you'll see the plant that it came from. It was off the top of its moss pole. So, got some sort of damage there. So yeah, I cut it, and I really had planned to put it back on the same moss pole, but the moss pole it's on is very thin. So there it sits, just a-dangling. Its neighbor is this Philodendron subhastatum. Yeah. And oops, I just cut it because the whole plant was chewed up. That was from a katydid over the summer. It had broken leaves, it kept falling over. And I had really intended, once again, to get this one back on a moss pole. And I haven't yet, and it's not looking great. It's kind of neglected, to be honest with you. The backs. But it's still growing, it's trying. And so this plant is in pieces all over the place. I think there's probably some of that still in water somewhere. I don't know. I did pot a handful of them up. I don't think there's any outside yet. Oh yeah, there is actually. Down there, just kind of chilling in the floor. It's havoc in here. I've been rearranging. But anyway, that's Florida Ghost, which it's not looking very ghosty. This is the newest leaf. Here's one of the older leaves, and it's just given me kind of all winter very green leaves, which it's just been sitting wherever. I haven't really tried to give it good light, which, you know, is a pity, but I'll get there. I will get it back on track. I just pulled it this winter because it was in a pot with a stick basically, so I just put it on this pole and gave it an up pot. Now it's just waiting to go outside and enjoy the light and the heat. I really do like Florida Ghost though. I had a bunch of them at one point, but I think I gave some away, traded some, I can't remember. I think this is the only one I have now, I'm pretty sure. This poor thing right here, let me move it. Right there. That's Philodendron tortum, that's its new leaf there. I've been on a journey with this plant. This plant, I've had it for over a year now, I think. And I've rotted the roots. Actually, it came with root rot. I picked it up not this past November, but the November before. And the girl, it was like a porch pickup, which I kind of expected her to literally right before when I pulled up to say, okay, here it is. But no, she just kind of stuck it outside in, 30-degree weather, and then went and walked her dog. So she wasn't even there when I picked it up. I just thought it was really bizarre that you'd take a philodendron and stick it in very cold weather and then just leave it there unprotected. But anyway, so it had cold damage. It lost every leaf it had. It was a larger plant than this, but the leaves were like melting. As soon as I got it in the car, I could see the leaves melting off, and I was like, oh, okay, this really looks like cold damage. But anyway, so I got it to start growing again after that. Then I root rotted it. It wasn't a bigger pot than this very recently, and the roots were rotting, so I put it in a smaller pot again. I don't know, I'm just going to leave it in here until the roots are hanging out the bottom, which I think will be a while, because I'd really like it to survive and maybe grow. I just haven't done well with it. I don't know. I usually don't have so much problems with philodendrons, but that one, very problematic to me. The one right behind it, that's Philodendron gigas. And this is actually the top cut of my other plant. You can see some spider mite damage. I don't know what that is. I thought it was something fungal just by the looks of it, so I've treated it quite a bit. I left the leaf on, and it doesn't seem to be continuing. That's been there for quite a while. It's not anything new, so I'm not overly concerned that it's going to spread. But maybe even bacterial, I'm not sure what it was. But I treated it a lot with everything under the sun. I threw everything at it. And it's grown a few leaves. Let's see, I think that actually was the last leaf when I propagated it. It was just unhappy. So this was a new leaf, this was a new leaf, and then this is a new leaf. And why does it look so bad? Because it was in a little teeny cup, underwatered, and it really suffered. So I just recently put it into pon. No, it was already in pon. I just recently up-potted it into pon again. So we'll see how it go. And then this guy here, this is Mayoi Tahiti radiatum. I'm not sure. I can't remember what name I bought it under. And it was just a bunch of cuttings because I had another one that I chopped down. So I just potted all the cuttings up. I think I did it during Vlogmas, around Christmas maybe. And I stuck a pole in here once it started crawling all over the place. Or not a pole, it's a support, it's a bamboo stake. Just to keep it more upright because it was really eating up a lot of space crawling around the way it was. So, I don't know. I put it in the laundry room and forgot about it for a while. My handy dandy laundry room workspace where I used to film a lot. But it got neglected in there, and it had spider mites like you would not believe. You can probably see some of the damage perhaps on there. So then it went and lived in the bathroom of shame for a while it was being treated. I have just moved it out here very recently from the bathroom of shame, and hopefully I don't regret it. We have new growth though. This is another one that I will probably have to propagate again in order to get it on a moss pole because it's just gone too long to try now, because I mean, that's the height of it, and that's the height of a moss pole. So it's going to be off the top already, basically. So, whoops. Let's see. I'm not sure if I have any over here. This was a cutting of Squamiferum. It's still just hanging out in moss because neglect is the name here. It got too dry. Eventually maybe I'll pot it up. There's nothing wrong with it. I just haven't gotten around to putting it in actual soil or anything like that. But it seems to be doing okay in the moss. I kind of water moss just like I would any other substrate, really. When it's dry, I water it. I've put fertilizer in there. It's same stuff I'd use for soil plants, and it seems to do okay. But I don't think it's the best, long-term solution for a plant. My opinion. I mean, not that my opinion matters. And then behind this here, let me see if I can move it over without knocking anything off. That is my Philodendron melanochrysum. which really, it doesn't look so bad. It's had spider mites a few times because, you know, Philodendron melanochrysum. Yeah, you can kind of see the damage up in here. But nevertheless, it's still lovely. Still lovely. This is the issue with this plant. I just need to cut it back, which it's rooted into the pole there. There we go. Maybe you can kind of see. I'm being blinded by the light above my head, so hopefully you can see. I can't. But yeah, it just needs to be propagated, the parts that aren't doing so great. You see this? It's a thing. I don't know. I never know if it's damage or pesties or what, so I just kind of like treat for everything. Oh look, it has a little freckle on the leaf. Anyway, that's the melanochrysum. It's still here. It's just not cooperative, but are they ever really? If you're somebody who grows beautiful melanochrysum, I'm so jealous, because I don't. Then sitting off to the left of that is Philodendron Burley Marks variegated, which I do love. Most of it's still variegated. Some of it has reverted. Like, it's, the plant grows in the most chaotic way. There you go, you can see. Like 9,000 little growth points will come from the same area of the plant. And I think, I can't tell where, the unvariegated one. Oh yeah, I cut off above it because we were going to put a stop to that. Right there. And then there's another one somewhere over here. Or I guess it's got a little bit of variegation, but not much really. It's also very dusty. But most of our growth points are variegated. This is another one I gave root rot to. I just let it dry too much. It's kind of rooting down in there. It's been slow to root though, to my surprise. This is just more squamiferum cuttings that are in there with it. So yeah, eventually I'm hoping to get that potted up. I really should propagate it more, but I think I want to get it potted, let it situate, and then I'll propagate it more. I have another one of those outside, so you'll see that. Then down here in the floor with the rest of the mess, I have Campus Portuanum. It was, you know, this was one of the original leaves, this was one of the original leaves, what's left of it, and then this was an original leaf, and then new growth. New growth. I left these entirely too long. They're just in moss. Entirely too long in water. They all have, you know, at least 3 new leaves. Oh no, this one doesn't have any. That's unusual. But a lot of them have at least 3 new leaves, if not more. Like this one. It's got the 3rd coming, I guess. But yeah, I've just left them entirely too long before doing anything with them. So these ones here are just out of feeling horrible for them just floating around in water. And not only that, but I forget to refill the water all the time. I put them in moss. I do really love this plant. I had it, it wasn't even on a pole, it was just staked, and it was growing like crazy. It's the fastest growing thing. I don't know that I needed to propagate it and make, you know, 20 of them, but that's kind of what happened. And then in here, I don't think I have many philodendron in here. This is in my guest room. It looks like it's just up here, which, forgive me, I know it's kind of dark, but it's just more of the squamiferum cuttings. Yeah, so I guess they're still in water if I haven't let it dry completely. Oh no, there's still water in there. Oh, sorry. There is. Yay. I think they all have new growth points that are about to open leaves, so I really need to do something with that, or I'm just not going to have the squamiferum anymore at this point. And I do like that plant. It was very easy going. I just propagated it because it was very leggy. I don't know, the petioles were kind of long and droopy, and it was just going every which way. And it was actually downsizing. So, I don't know. I thought maybe I could get better, neater, tidier growth out of it, more consistently sized growth if I propagated it and repole it. So that's been the long-term plan with that guy. Up here next to this pothos is a Philodendron brantianum, and once again it's just living on this shelf up above my pellet stove. It had a predecessor that lived there, which did fine until the vine got probably about 20 feet long, and I accidentally went to pull something off this shelf, and I grabbed the vine and I snatched the whole thing down. It was in leca. The plant didn't love that, so there we are starting over. And this is what it's looking like a little bit closer. It's just a couple little cuttings, and they're teeny tiny leaves, but it's fine. I do like Brantianum quite a bit. I don't do well with it. I literally just put it in semi-hydro and let it go. I do nothing for this plant other than top up the reservoir, just because I find it that hard to grow. So leaves get stuck all the time. I think it wants higher humidity, more moisture than I really have ever given it. So I don't know, you know. But it does grow like crazy once it gets going. I don't think I even rooted it. I think I just chopped it and stuck them in there. And that was fairly recently, within the last month or so. You can see we've lost a leaf. But yeah, I do like it. And then there on the shelf, this is some philodendron lichens. I just took a bunch of cuttings and stuck them in some soil, and they've grown. Now mind you, this plant has never been under a grow light or anything. It gets very little light, very little light. And while the leaves are small, it has been quite a vigorous grower, so I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. I really do like lichens. It's one that I think I will always have in my collection. And I've actually had them for quite a long time. It's one of the first vining philodendron I got actually was lichens, which probably sounds weird because I guess it was hard to find there for a while. Maybe it just wasn't in my area, I'm not sure. So, I don't know. It's a nice one. Then in this little owl here, in this Taco Bell cup, it's a cutting of my Philodendron Bloody Mary, which I love, but I had to chop it all up. Once again, it was just unruly. Sorry, I guess it's two cuttings of the Philodendron Bloody Mary. And it's actually put out a whole plant there. That one cutting had, oh, both cuttings have, you can see the pink stems. I should really do something about that. I didn't realize it was two separate cuttings. It is. But yeah, it needs to be potted up pretty badly. Not that you could tell by the way I'm treating it right now, but it is one of my favorite plants. It really is. This planter kind of sitting next to my fish tank here. Don't look at my fish tank, it's a mess. Don't look, don't look. That also has, it's a Franken planter, and it's also got some lichens in it. And this one actually grows a little bit larger leaves than the other one. It gets some light from the fish tank, I guess. I don't know. And it does go outside. It does. But man, lichens are so pretty. So pretty. I wouldn't say there's a lot of it in this plant. The pothos here has really taken over. But yeah. I had to come back up here because I realized I forgot this Philodendron UPI, which I received recently in a trade. Thank you, I love it. It's about to put out its first leaf. It's been working on it for a while there. I probably need to mist it. It might be stuck. There's not much humidity up here right now. I don't know, it's probably 50–60%. Not much to see yet, but soon, my friends. Pretty excited. I also forgot this little philodendron. Why are we not focusing? Emerald Dents. Looks okay. Looks okay. It's a little guy, but it's got roots. We're happy. Can you see the roots? Maybe not. But anyway, I'm happy with it. And then I also forgot this gnarly looking pink princess. It's one of the Costa Farms ones. It is not looking great. Oops, sorry. Everything but the plant. Yeah, it's just not looking awesome. I need to propagate it, but pink princess is such a pain in the butt to propagate. I definitely recommend doing it by stuffing it in moss and in a prop box. I don't know if there's an easier or better way. Somebody tell me, because I can get them to grow, but it's a slow process for sure. Phew, I was on my way out here and a little lizard just scared the pants off me. This guy here that we're looking at that's hanging, that is Philodendron, what is it, neon? No, lemon lime, I think they call it. I've had it for a couple years and I love it. It's a good grower. The new leaves come in, especially in brighter light, kind of pinky orange. It's very pretty plant. I particularly like that it demands nothing of me. Nothing at all. Just some water every now and then. We're looking at the little, if we'll focus, it's got little freckles of like an orangey red here and there on some of the leaves. But yeah, I really do like this plant quite a bit. I can't reach it to get it down off of there to water it, but my husband helps. It's just a really nice plant. Very nice. And then back there, looking a little mad and backlit, I'm sorry about that. Maybe if we get closer. It's got a little bit of death going on there. That's my Philodendron Brazil, which was very neglected over the winter. I'm honestly surprised it survived it. Very honestly surprised. It was just kind of hanging on a wall in the corner. It didn't know what a light would look like. But it's still lovely. It just kind of grows whatever kind of variegation it wants to. Gosh, why is the light so bad? Because I'm trying to film against the sun, that's why. Against a much brighter outdoor area. Oops. But I really like this plant. I say that about every plant. I know, I can't help it. I do, it's the truth. Then in that corner, hanging above the chair there, that is just a regular green heartleaf philodendron. And I love it. It's actually got some cebu blue in it as well. It probably also has some Brazil in there still. I don't know, as I break things, I just kind of stick them in a pot that's nearby. Or if I notice something is like broken. Some of it takes, some of it doesn't. It's fine. This one here, it was doing great until the last few weeks. And I don't know what's going on there. Ooh, spider web, face first, God's sakes. Ooh. Where's the spider? Ugh. I think what's happened is it's been cold. We've had, it's been down to the mid-40s out here at night. So I think some of it's just suffered a little bit because of that. But overall, it doesn't look too bad, and I think we'll be fine. But yeah, it just didn't really love the cold. I don't know how long this plant is, but I know right above this chair isn't going super well because it's gonna touch the chair soon, and you can see I've cut it. But yeah, I'm gonna say it's a 10-footer. It's a good one. I like it a lot. And then this one here, it's the regular green Philodendron burley marks, which I think it's had the same issue. Some of the cold weather, it hasn't loved it. Hasn't loved it. It's the growth. It's really weird just how many growth points these plants like to spit out all in one cluster. And I think that's kind of, I think that's kind of what I like about it, is the chaos. I like the chaos. When it comes to plants anyway. So it's a nice one. It's starting to fill out. I had propagated the whole thing back. I had like a shrub of it, and I chopped it all up because it was just not manageable. So in an attempt to make it manageable, I chopped the whole thing back, threw it all into a little square tote and filled it with water, and every single cutting survived and rooted. So what I actually did to myself was taking one unmanageable plant and making about 12 plants that will also be unmanageable in the future. Live and learn. Live and learn. But yeah. So there's multiple cuttings. If you see more pots of it, every pot has multiple cuttings in it. Just because I was trying to conserve space that way. Instead of having, 50 burley marks, philodendron burley marks, I figured we'd just have 10 burley marks. And as usual, my little buddy, following me around. Olive. What? To the greenhouse. Okay, pardon the fan noise and the weird lighting. This is Philodendron tripartitum. This is the main plant that I had cut the other one from. You can see up there where I cut it. And it's just continued to grow. And it didn't miss a beat, really. Like within a week, it had shot out a new growth point. There's another one down here. It's a little smaller, but it's still cute. It's still cute. I like it a lot. It's a good plant. It's tough as hell. Tough, tough, tough. And it grows fast. So, it's a great plant. The Philodendron adibapoense, which I don't know what's going on with it. Spider webs. It doesn't like its pole anymore. It's growing into it there, you can see, and probably even here at this point. But this is its most recent leaf, and it's definitely smaller than, you know, what we were getting. Sorry, I don't even know if I was pointing that at the right thing. But yeah, I don't know. I do like this plant quite a bit. It's one of my favorites, honestly. All the time. Pretty consistently in love with it. It's the green is like a bluey green. I don't know. The backs. Party of the back. It's just one of my favorites. And it's also tough. I don't know if we've ever lost a leaf on it. Ever. I'm not sure how long I've had it. A few years. Maybe 3 years? 2-3 years? No idea really. But I only recently gave it that pole. And well, maybe it's just that I've repotted it and that's why it's sized down. Because, you know, before I repotted it, it was giving me pretty good sized leaves, really. I don't know. I'm not concerned about it. It's going to do what it wants to do. As long as it's still growing and looks good, like healthy, I'm happy. We're all happy. The Philodendron, gosh, what is this thing? I always get confused. Is it snowdrift? Maybe it's snowdrift. I love the variegation on it. These leaves come in a very pinky white color, and then they kind of fade down a bit till they're eventually pretty green. This one here, it had some, I want to say it's like copper rust when I got it. So I've treated it. I know a lot of people would say, remove those leaves. It's fine. I mean, the new growth is looking pretty good. And then this is another new leaf here. I think this is the newest, actually, is this one. It's so pretty. And it's thinking about another one there. So, I'll wait until it kind of gets itself together and I have to support it and repot it anyway, and then I'll get rid of these weird leaves, the damaged, diseased, yucky leaves. But for now, they're fine, they're not hurting anything. And so, they're still doing their job. Up here, let's see, I think Philodendron Summer Glory is all I've got on the shelf. This is one. This is the newest leaf on this one. There's another one back there. Oh, and that's the newest leaf on that one. Can you kind of see it? Yeah, there we go. So those are just from propagations from my original Summer Glory. And they're easy peasy. Then down there, Philodendron Jose Bono. I really love that plant. I chopped it up. It's much smaller. Oop. Sorry, my Summer Glory is falling over because I disturbed it. It needs water. Ooh. Yeah. I chopped it up because it was having spider mites. It kept falling over. The leaves were just beat to shit. So I propagated it, and this was, I think, the top cutting. There's still a node somewhere that's got a growth point, but it hasn't done much yet. So anyway, that's just chilling down there. It could use more light, honestly. I should pull it forward. It's very dark down here. I don't know if that's obvious, but it is. Down there, that is also a Another subhastatum down there. Oh yeah, just one in that pot. So yay for that, doing good. Over here, this is Philodendron glorious. Still not quite looking glorious. Not looking glorious. That's its newest leaf with spider mite damage. Imagine that. But yeah, it looks okay. It looks better than it did previously. That is also a propagation. That was the top cut, and then I have two more inside that I forgot to show you. But like I said, if I showed you every single every single plant I have of a particular plant, we'd be here a long time. Then back there, that is Philodendron White Princess, I believe is what that is. It's got a nice new growth point coming in. It's got some damage. It's just a plant thing. Look at that leaf down there. Can you see it? But anyway, it's doing good. I like it. Don't think it's actually grabbed into that pole yet, though. Right, the camera overheated, and I can relate because I'm overheating as well. It's actually cooled off a little bit in here. So, got up to 95 at some point today, and down to 54 last night. Not bad, but I did have heat on last night, to be fair. So, it's warm. Bizarre. Okay, I was talking about that White Princess back there, which is doing good. Don't think it's grabbed the pole. That's another Philodendron subhastatum. Love it. This here is the Philodendron giganteum, which it is. It's not a lie. It's got a new leaf coming down here. Very nice. Its most recent leaf is jammed under this table. Why it's shoved itself there, I couldn't tell you. But yeah, I cut this one up this winter as well, just because it was gigantic. And it's still gigantic. This is the top cutting. That's the first leaf it's put out since it's been potted up. And you can see I've tried to wrangle it because it is massive. It is massive. Like, I don't know if you know or not, but when they tell you, when it says giganteum, they mean that. That leaf is over a foot. It might be pushing 2 feet long. And this is not an old plant. It's maybe 3. But I cut it every year. Every year, just because it's so huge. Huge. It is completely shading my other Philodendron Summer Glory down here. This is the newest leaf. It's pretty well hardened off. It's gotten smaller, and I think it's just because it is shaded, it gets 0 light. But this was another leaf here. It's a very pretty plant. Definitely a crawler. And it's one that actually behaves. It crawls like it should and doesn't try to shoot off into space or whatever, like some of my other crawlers do. Then kind of hiding back there on that pole, that is Philodendron mexicanum, which I love. Boy, the light in here is just not doing anything justice. But yeah, so this plant was probably about this tall when I got it, and then I stuck it on a pole. You can see that it was desperate to climb, but it's done some climbing and growing since then. It does root into the pole very easily. I think this is the most recent leaf, and it's a nice one. Here we go. I'll back up as far as I can to get it in there. It's very nice. I really like the backs. It's kind of like kind of mottling on the back. I don't know if you can see it. To me it looks very dark on the screen, but it's kind of a coppery color, like a coppery red. I don't know, but I like it. It's a nice one. It really needs a top up and an extension, because it's going to be off the pole with that leaf for certain. Then back there, also in the dark, it's really not that dark. I don't know why it looks so dark to me. That's Philodendron Florida Beauty. This was the first one I had, which isn't the main plant. I ended up with the main plant too. she gave me a cutting, so this was grown from a cutting that I got in the fall. But then she ended up giving me the main plant because she was just over plants. I think this is all green. Yeah, put out one all green leaf. Bizarre. It's the only all green one I've had from this plant. But it's a good one. It grows so much better than I thought it would, which I guess I should have known because I think Florida Ghost, any of the Floridas, I think they all grow very well. So I shouldn't have been surprised. Its neighbor here, looking a little thirsty and droopy. It's Philodendron Villetier. It's a nice one. I really need to get this one on a pole now. I've rotted the roots on this several times. Several times. I just let it get too dry. This is one of the leaves it had when I cut it. Cute, right? This one's going, I think. But it's just recently started to size up for me finally. These are the biggest leaves I've ever had on this plant. I do like its weird orange petioles. Got a new leaf coming. It's growing very quickly right now, and I guess that's just loving the greenhouse. But yeah, it's a good one. It's tough. Like I say, I've rotted the roots on it. It wasn't an easy thing to do, really. It wasn't. It was just neglect, and then I watered it, and you know what happens when you water severely dry roots. That's how I root rotted this plant. But it's definitely ready, I'd say, to go on a pole. Finally, if I ever order some poles. The one right there behind it, I think it was labeled Pastazatum when I bought it. And this is its most recent leaf here. I'm so terrified I'm going to grab a spider. I don't want to pet a spider today. That's the most recent leaf. Very pretty. Very pretty. And it's growing pretty well. Whether or not it's grabbing that pole, I don't know. I haven't actually looked lately. Let's look. We're here. I'm going to say no. I don't think I see any roots in there. Also, that is so dry. I had no idea. I was in here watering yesterday and it didn't look dry, so I didn't water it. But she's dry. She's so dry. And down there, in the dark again, it's on the bottom shelf. That is Philodendron. I believe it's Silver Stripe. I think that's what it's called. And this is one I just chopped up and kind of threw in here. I didn't really root it or anything. I just threw the cuttings in some soil. It looks like some of them have some new growth. Some of them might just be dying. I did it a while ago though, so it's not just suddenly dying. It's been slowly dying for months. I think this was when I took the, I have a trellis box upstairs and I took some plants off of it that were just kind of velcroed onto the trellis, and this was one of them. But yeah, you see new growth down in there, so I'm happy. No complaints. I'm going to put it somewhere else though. This is the, I think it's SP Columbia, Philodendron Columbia, and I love it. It's doing okay. It's actually been very slow to grow. That's an older leaf. I don't worry about it, especially in here, because I'd be just chasing dead leaves all day. But, oh yeah, it put out another leaf right here. Huh, it's very small. Maybe it's not getting enough light. Oh god, the cat scared me. Olive. Olive, you scared me. You scared me. But yeah, I was surprised to see that that was a new leaf, because I didn't realize it was even putting one out. But yeah, maybe it's the light that it's so much smaller than this one. I don't know. That, and maybe it could use a repot into a pot for crawlers, because it is a crawler apparently. I wasn't really sure. I wasn't familiar with that plant. And then this guy here is Philodendron D. McDowell, which was this size when I got it, but it's very quickly decided to size up quite a bit. The newest leaf right there. Sorry, I'm trying to get it in a frame. There we go. That is the newest leaf. So it's quickly dwarfed the Columbia. Gosh. There we go. Maybe you can see. The only thing that's problematic about this plant, other than the fact that it's apparently going to be huge, if I can get the other leaves out of the way, sorry, is that it's decided to shoot up into space. It's not crawling anymore. I don't know where it thinks it's going, but it's well on its way. Yeah, you can see the last few nodes have decided not to even get anywhere near the soil, which I don't know why. It's nice and moist in there, but yeah, it just doesn't want to behave. So I'm probably gonna put it on a pole. Probably seems insane, but if that's what it wants, it would be more convenient for me if it grew that way anyway. I forgot this one over here. That is Philodendron. Oh, painted lady. I'm stepping on the cat. Philodendron painted lady. It's not looking super painted. It's very neglected. It's always neglected because it's tough. It can take it. And that's not a good excuse to neglect it. It just means that that plant is not one I have to hover over all the time. I'm not sure if it's ever had any pests, ever. It's had some katydids chew on it, I'm sure. But there's probably maybe 4 or 5 on that pole, something like that. And they all came from one plant. I just kept propagating it until it got to where I liked it. Oh no, actually there was 3, but they've actually split themselves, like with 2 growth points. So it ended up being 4, I believe. I think I'm correct. I really need to, you can see how dry that pole is. Like how it's pulled away from the mesh. I need to repot that and actually maybe propagate it again. I don't know. We'll put it on the list. Then up there on the right, well, I guess it's towards the middle for you, that is Philodendron mottled dragon, and I'm going to take it down because I realize you can't see anything from here. Okay, I think I'm actually going to put this in the gazebo instead of fighting to get it back up there. This is Philodendron mottled dragon. It's looking a lot more dragon than mottled. It also needs a pole replacement. Oh, that's dry. It needs a new pole, an extension. You can see some of it there under the pollen. Yeah. It's a pretty plant. It's been fast growing. But I find that the mottling or the variegation or whatever you want to call it is not very persistent. It easily gives up. Very easily. So, I don't know, but I do like it. I would like it to size up though. And it really hasn't, even though it has grabbed this pole. I think. Am I lying? I might be lying. Oh no, it is right there. Finally, when it's almost to the top is when it decided to grab. This one here has. This was planted in at a later date because it was propagated to chase the variegation. And it hasn't lost many leaves. It looks like 2. 2, and that would just be from heat and underwatering out here. But I've had this a few years also. I do like it. Look how long that petiole is compared to this one, for example. I don't know. Light, I guess. Light. But yeah, it's a good plant. Overheating. Gonna have to pause. Look at that. That one was a nice one. And then on the left of that shelf, center of the screen for you, that is the Philodendron Paraiso Verde, which I have not pulled down to look at since I put it up there, so let's pull it down and look at it. Okay, so this is it. This is a new leaf. No variegation whatsoever. And I'm surprised because everybody says it's heat, it's light. It's not going to get much more light. It's burning. It is burning. I'm giving it such highlight. But, is this an old, yeah, this is an older leaf. Looking as it should. This is an older leaf, looking as it should. That one. But yeah, the new leaves, not really variegating. So I'm gonna move it back down because it's just getting burnt up there. Maybe I'll put a Hoya up there. Sorry, I'm just like looking in here for a newer leaf that's actually looking like it's supposed to. This is a newer leaf. It's all green. I think I said the last time I talked about this plant, it looks very verde, but not very Paraiso. I don't know, it is pretty, even green. I'm not mad at it, but you know, I'm gonna remove these sunburnt leaves maybe. I think I should. Like that's what I really want this plant to do, but it hasn't. I don't know. So yeah, Paraíso Verde. I can't provide it with any more heat or light than it gets out here, so I don't know. Direct sun clearly isn't doing it. This is Philodendron White Knight. Isn't that a lovely leaf? When I saw this come out, I was kind of afraid it was going to start giving me a lot of white, which it's actually held on to this pretty good. It's 3 leaves back now. This is the newest leaf on that the current new leaf on that particular vine. There's 2 in here. And then this was another. So I guess we're not gonna put out all white. That's wonderful. It's lovely. This is the newest leaf on the other one. It's just sticky. I forget to water it. Yeah. That's gorgeous, but it definitely made me nervous. It is a good plant though. All plants are good plants. I'm just not as good at plant parenting as some plants. This thirsty guy here is Philodendron Florida Green, which I love. It's beautiful. Lovely. It's downsized a little bit over the winter. I expect it'll pick back up here soon. I think. I mean, who knows, but I think so. It's very easygoing, very easy growing. Sizes up easily. It tolerates my neglect quite well. Just all around, I love this plant, and I would recommend it to anyone, even to beginners, because it's just easy peasy. Very pretty, very pretty. I do like the Florida leaf shape very much. Down there, starting to get lost in weeds on the floor, Ring of Fire Philodendron, which I know it probably didn't need a pull, but I've given it one, and for whatever reason I've given it a large one, but yeah. It does pretty good. I like it. I like how the new growth comes in kind of orange. I'm guessing that's why it's Ring of Fire. I don't know. It's got a new leaf it's working on down there. Not that we're focusing, but it's there. That's the newest. It's very pretty. It really is. Or I think it is. I think it's quite lovely. I had a big problem with sticky leaves on this plant indoors over the winter. It didn't love it, and probably part of that was my neglect. It's hard to get around to watering things. I think I've said not only is the greenhouse full of plants, but so is my house. There are plants in every room of my home. So it's a lot. I don't know how many there are. Couldn't begin to guess at this point. Oodles and oodles. This guy back here on this shelf. This is the butt cut from the Jose Bono. Oh, it had 2 growths. But anyways, this is the one that's actually going. So, yeah. It's doing okay. Doing okay. We just let it grow. Back here under the tie, this is Philodendron pedatum. It is one that I actually potted up from the cuttings that I showed previously. I intended to get this on a pole. Once again, I still haven't either made poles or purchased them. So, oops, sorry. So we need to get around to that. I'm just slow. Then right here, that's Pink Princess Philodendron. It's probably, I'm gonna say 4 of them on that pole. They haven't really sized up. They haven't really grabbed the pole. That's mostly just because I'm crap at watering poles. Why is that folded? Oh, okay. I always worry that it's a spider web underneath. Looks like I just burn it. I do like that outside the pink comes out really, really like hot pink. Really hot pink. Just the brighter light, I guess. It does kind of fade over time, but it's more of a paler pink or even a cream. a creamy pink. But this plant didn't have the greatest variegation. And I can't say it's great now, but it's okay. I just keep chopping on it. I haven't in a while, actually. Ooh, there's a spider web. Okay, so stop massaging the plant before you pet a spider. Anyway, it's been a good plant. It's been a fairly easy plant. Just sticky leaves, and even out here it's doing it. So I don't know. That one's kind of been that way for a while now. Previous to that, it was just stuck in the sheath forever. I don't know. It's, you know, Pink Princess thing. It does what it wants. I'm not the boss of it, clearly. And that guy there. This is the cluster of Philodendron Rubra Juvenile, or Choco Red. You see kind of a red back there on that leaf. That's a newer one. There's several of them jammed in here, and I really need to sort them out. But I've not had the best time repotting them. But you can see they're all jammed up and crunched together. I don't know. But it's very pretty, and hopefully I don't kill it when I repot it. Because we're definitely getting to the point now where I should start thinning them. Looks like some spider mite damage there. Possibly. I don't see any actual spider mites though. I don't know. That's been there. It's just mechanical. Pardon me while I study the plant quietly. It's just pretty, and I do just stare at them sometimes. I try not to just stare quietly when I'm supposed to be giving you a tour and telling you a little bit about the plant. But anyway, I haven't had this particular one very long, I don't think. I don't think this one is the one from cuttings. No, it's not. It can't be. It's got to be a tissue culture one, right? To be that jammed full of plants. Pretty sure. But yeah, I do like it. It's velvety and it's dark, and then it's got the pop of color on the back. What's not to like? The spider mites are not to like, and the pickiness of this plant is not to like, but other than that, it's pretty tough. This one has been anyway. And then this is one of the Philodendron Brother Marks variegated that I actually potted up from cuttings. This was a mother leaf, and this was a mother leaf. I guess it had 2 leaves, but now it's growing. It's growing, and it's putting off little growth points down in there. I guess you can see them. So hopefully it do okay. It's pretty. Sorry, I'm jittery. Is that scale? Or frass? I think that's frass. Frass, aka bug poop. But anyway, I like it. I like it a lot. They're tough. They really are, even with the root rot that I did to the mother plant of this guy. It really hasn't died back or lost anything. The mother plant, I mean. Other than roots. Then down here, this poor thing is my Philodendron Splendid, which it has been through something. It has, not that you can tell, because it's pretty beat up, but it has been through a lot. It has. Some of it you can tell. But it has variegation. I'll show you in just a moment. Not much, but it does continue. You can't tell for the damage is what I was going to say. This was spider mites. It got those out here, actually. And I just didn't realize it. They were tearing it up. Tearing it up, boy! So anyway, the variegation, aka birthmarks, it's just green on green. It's just green on green. You can kind of see it on that leaf there. It's not over much. It's just a little speck. And this leaf here, can you spot it? It's just there. So we'll see what the new leaf looks like. I mean, I don't care. It's just green on green. I don't care if it's not variegated or if it is variegated. It makes no never mind to me. I just think it's a lovely plant. I would really like to grow it well. I did once upon a time long ago, and then spider mites tore it down. And like that was probably a couple years ago. And this is where we're at after all that. It's just, I don't know. It's probably bone dry. Yeah, it's pretty dry. everything out here is pretty dry. The mosquitoes would eat you alive out here about a week ago. So I've been spraying mosquito bits, like the mosquito bit tea, into all the plants when I water and into all the poles. And that seems to be an improvement. That, and I have mosquito coils that I've been burning in here. Because I can't really, like, as far as pesticide sprays, I don't really want to go ham in here with that. So, oh, there's one I forgot. Philodendron, Campii, or Lynette. Oh, there we go, maybe. How about I set it down so I can actually show you? There we go. This plant has been kind of spider mighty off and on for me. I guess it's all these little nooks and crannies in these, like, in the veining, the ridges, the ribs, the abs. What do you call that? I'm sure there's a name for it. But this plant has had both spider mites and, I think, mealybugs at one point in time. Nevertheless, I still love it, and I will still keep treating it. I think eventually they do climb. It's just growing pretty compact. I've had it for a while, but it's been a struggle. It has. It's the pests. So maybe it hasn't grown the fastest. I don't know. But I do really like it. That new leaf. Ooh. So pretty. So new, the spider mites haven't even found it yet. I was going to say, before I say that, maybe I should take a peek at the back. No, looks good. Looks good. So I like that one quite a bit. Campii or Lynette. Whichever. And then this one here, which has also been a struggle for me. This is Philodendron Majestic, which I love. It's always too dry. I'm always underwatering this plant, but it is lovely. It really is when it's happy. It's also a spider mite magnet. Spider mites love it. So pretty much every time I water it, I spray her down. Some sort of damage there. Oh yeah, and the backs are kind of lovely as well. They're pretty. They've got a blush to them. You can see so much damage on so many of these leaves. Oh, this is one that's broken, and I've just left it dangling. I expected it would die off on its own. Yeah, it's broke. It's been broke. But I've left it. I really do like this plant. I just want it to grow nicely. I feel like someday it might. Maybe. It's been on this pole for a while now. It's actually kind of moist still, much to my surprise, but the substrate is like bone dry. I can't get them to sync up with their water needs, and that's true of most of my poles. The pole will be wet, but the pot will be bone dry, or the pot will be soggy and the pole will be dry. It's, you know, vice versa. I can't speak. But it's just hard for me to keep both at a decent level of moisture. There we go. That's what I'm trying to say. I forgot this one. This was the base of the Philodendron Florida Beauty. So I left this one leaf on the base. I made 3 other cuttings, a top cut, mid, and 2 mid cuts. One of the mid cuts I traded off. The top cut died to the point where it was only the growing point left. It's still unrooted, but it's sitting in water, and I think it's finally starting to make a move. And then one of the mid cuts, the one that I kept, lost its mother leaf, but it's got a little growth point on it. So, and then this was the base, which actually is starting to grow. I didn't intend to keep it, but it was trying to grow, and so I kept it, because, you know, you can't throw out a perfectly good plant that's trying to live. And then this here is another philodendron. I guess it's silver stripe. And it was just another propagation from the one that I had on a trellis. This one did really well, but I took the time to actually root it before I shoved it in some soil to fend for itself. So that's probably why this one has done better. That, and I might have propagated this earlier, like before I took the whole plant off the trellis. I'm not sure. I'm assuming I did, because this is actually much much more growth than I would expect from just a few months. So, especially considering these little pots are dry like every other day. But, yeah. It just lives there on the edge of that shelf, happily. Is that really every philodendron? I feel like surely I'm missing some. One more. This is Philodendron Fuzzy Petiole. And I just got it half an hour ago. I've had it before and I murdered it, so I could never get it past not even this size, maybe this size. So I saw this one at the place across the street from me. I say across the street, it's like a mile up the road. But anyway, it's called Butler's Farm Market and Orchard, maybe. And she has some tropicals. I think her husband is the tropical lover, I'm not sure. But they're both really nice. But anyway, I got this there, Philodendron Fuzzy Petiole, because I don't grow it well. And I'm figuring maybe if I start with a larger plant, more established plant, maybe it'll go better for me. So I'll let you know. But I do like it. I do. Quite a bit. If you're local, they had more in there the same size. So, yay. Okay, so I think that was all or most of my philodendrons. I'm pretty sure I forgot a few, but I'm kind of lazy, so I'm not going to go hunt them down now, like Philodendron gloriosum. I don't know, I can't even remember what else, but I'm sure there's some I forgot. We'll probably go back at the end of all this, and I'll try to make a list of all the ones that I know that I've forgotten, and we'll just tuck them in somewhere in a video of forgotten plants. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching, thank you for hanging out with me, and come back and check me out again soon. Bye.